Just taking the full self-driving for a little test. Not going to set a destination yet. Let's see how well the visualization's working here. It is picking up people a lot easier, and obstacles definitely showing a lot more of the environment. This is a weekend night on the island. A lot of crazy driving goes on out here. A lot of drinking, a lot of drunk people. I don't care to drive that much on the island late at night. Just got back into the full self-driving today. In the new car. Took forever to get it in the new car. I was up in McAllen and drove it back. Full self-driving. It did a decent job. Still a few issues here and there. Most of it was using the highway stack since it's so far away. But let's try a straight shot down the island. The traffic is very bad right now. A lot of people leaving the island. It's been a long day. Hotels can get quite expensive and full on the island, so a lot of the people here are driving in, and it's seeing them way on the other side there. All the cars. I don't know if y'all can see it. If I got the camera at the right angle, we've got a line of traffic waiting to get off the island. The visualization is showing closer than what they actually are, but that's okay. Here comes a golf cart. It has a hard time figuring it out. Try to do is get up here on the main road, and then when you engage it, and just let it go without a destination set. It's kind of dark right now. Some people just driving their high beams on, blinding everybody. Thank you very much. This line of traffic, I would assume, would have been going off the island, but it looks like they're heading down to maybe beach access 6-2. I don't know. So let's just tell it where we're going to go. Navigate to Island Adventure Park, South Padre Island. This area here has very bad cell reception, so the voice commands don't work until you have a good cell connection. Sees this Jeep pulling out in front of me. Let's try it again. Navigate to Island Adventure Park, South Padre Island. There we go. And it's not finding either one of them, so South Padre Island area. So right now we have this set to navigate there. It's 10 miles straight down the road. Nothing difficult yet. The car wanted to kind of pull out. And seeing the people on the side of the road, the other vehicles here. I'm paying attention to the road, not too much to the screen. Hopefully the recording's catching all that. For the first testing of it. I don't know how much room I have on that phone to record. Since we have a lot of people on the island, the cell phone network is saturated. So it's kind of hard to do a live stream right now. And seeing some of those people in the intersection there on the median. Did good checking to make sure nobody was in the walkway. But it's definitely visualizing a lot of these vehicles coming the other side. We have flashing lights on at the crosswalk. People running across. Did it see them? Yeah, it sees them over there, which is good. This is a very stressful place for the full self-driving to drive. What about pilot is creeping forward? I guess it just wants to make sure no one's in the crosswalk still. Go a little bit slower, just 25, because of human error factor. If people wouldn't jaywalk, it'd be a lot easier. I don't know why it's trying to turn and it's thinking this car is not moving, but it changed its mind. That's good. It realized that we're just in heavy traffic. I don't think anybody would let us over there. We have a three-wheeler and kind of trying to figure out what that is, the slingshots. Either way, coming back is going to be a pain in the rear. As you can see, all this traffic coming back. I'm probably second guessing trying to do this tonight. Even though we're only going 10 miles, it's going to take a while. Which is normal on this island at nighttime. I would be doing Uber and Lyft right now, but with how long it takes, get back and forth is usually not worth it. And the car is washing the windshield. One drawback about on the island and not being able to go very fast is that there's a lot of muck that builds up on the windshield from all the mist and having the AC on in the inside. It is only 85 degrees outside. It was up to 103 degrees when I was up in McAllen. A lot of people are turning over here to go to the local bars. Taquita Sunset's a nice one. I like their sashimi burger. Their tuna tacos are good too. All the bars here have different live music playing every night. Last night, Friday night, they had fireworks in the bay. which was good. New. Usually it's just Clayton's for a while, but now I guess we're coming up to summertime, so they're having more places. I'm not sure if Clayton's had both fireworks last night or tonight as well. Coming to crosswalk here, I don't see anybody running across. But man, is it seeing a lot of vehicles. That is impressive, the number of vehicles it's seeing. Let's see what it sees behind us. It sees quite a bit behind us. As this truck pulls out in front of us, making a U-turn. We have a lot of U-turns on this island. And he is not quite out of the way. Seeing the people, and I'm having a hard time seeing them in the dark myself. For the full self-driving beta software and for full self-driving, it wants to have the high beams on auto. I understand that. Yeah, let's kick those high beams in when we need to really see something a little clearer. But in some places, like when I was growing up in Richmond, Virginia, it's technically illegal to use the high beams downtown because it'd be shining into people's homes at nighttime. So you can get a ticket for using high beams. Now this car just pulled out. They have absolutely no lights on at all. I don't know if they are going to realize that at any point, but that is very common on the island. And this guy's going to pull out anyway and not wait. I have nobody behind me for quite a distance that could have been polite and waited for me to pass, but they didn't want to do that. A lot of golf cart rental places on the island. Too many golf carts and slingshots. The traffic leaving the island has slacked up here. It is 9:30. If Clayton's did have their fireworks, they would have them at 9:15, so they should have been over by now. It has been months since the last full self-driving software I was running on my old car. So now that I have the latest software, it is definitely by far better than the previous one so far. I haven't been able to put it through all of its paces. Still getting to the point where I'm trying to relax a little more and, give the car a little more credit. These vehicles are going very slow, and that's because there's a golf cart in front of this other vehicle, and those only max out at 25 miles per hour. Not sure if the car is going to decide to pass on its own. Is clear, so it could pass these people. But I am not in a rush, so I'm letting the car make its own decisions right now. Seeing more vehicles outward bound from the island. Quite a ways up on the island here, there's a beach access 6. There you can actually drive onto the beach for a while and go north. Can't drive on the dunes, but you can drive on the beach itself. It's seeing the golf cart like a car right now. I would like to get behind a full golf cart with a bunch of people in it, particularly one of those 8-seaters. And it kind of jerked over to the other lane here. And there goes a couple of golf carts there. And it's seeing those guys, but it's also seeing its people or motorcycles, so it's confused. Kids are crying. I'm slowing it down here. Yeah, it doesn't know what to make of those golf carts still. It's recognizing the cars and stuff just fine. See if it's going to try to get around this or if it's going to wait. Looks like it's going to wait. We do have a lot of cars going behind us. And it's going to sneak around, okay? I'm just going to report that because I would have handled that a little differently. I would have went ahead and tried to go around. There was an opening for it, but it is hard to make out. And it's hitting the high beam with the cars coming on. That's very rude. It's turning off the auto high beam right now. It should not do that. It's just going to make people upset. Going up to speed increases. But I am going to slow it down because I don't know if anybody's going to be jumping out here or people are going to be trying to walk across the street. Late at night, I don't like to go 50 miles per hour at nighttime here. When people walk back and forth across the street out here. 50 mile per hour zone, but yet 35 because of crosswalks. Now, just like before when I had the full self-driving, when I hit the scroll button to tell it to go slower, it does not aggressively slow down. It just kind of goes neutral. You know, there's very little regen going on or anything. It's just coasting down. Which they really need to fix that. It's not like I'm trying to say that when it sees the speed limit decrease, it needs to decrease rapidly, where it should do that. But if I am inputting and requesting the car to go slower by scrolling down, the car should heed what I want. I kind of hate to have to hit the brake to disable the full self-driving just to get it to slow down, or just engage the full self-driving and to let regen slow me down. I should not need to do that. We do have the beach access area here. I'm going to disengage for this here. I don't know if there's someone in the road directing traffic or not. I don't see any traffic directions going on here. Re-engaging the full self-driving as we have cars parked on the side of the road. Checked out any videos by Dr. Know-It-All. notes me. He likes to dive into those. He does a lot of stuff in the AI field. Teaches that in college. It has the high beams on again. And I just think it keeps the high beams on longer than it should. Finally turned them off. Did good moving over some to make room for that ice cream truck. We are coming out here to a bunch of dunes and stuff. Trying to see how it sees these dunes tonight. Yeah, it was hitting the high beams again with these cars coming. They were not happy about that. Cut off the high beams now. Yeah, it's still kicking them on. I'm turning that off. Area of Texas, southern Texas, near Boca Chica, Brownsville area. There are some pretty interesting neighborhoods that are not easy to drive through. A lot of dips, a lot of speed bumps that sometimes the car takes too fast. I'm hoping the beta software, it does a better job of slowing down for those. Does a good job of watching out for potholes and stuff. Looks like the last car here, for a while at least. So I'm turning back on auto high beams. Now it's using it again. Opening up the speed here for a little bit because we still have 3 miles to go. I want to come out this way because there's a lot of the sand dunes are blown into the road, which I want to see what this car does for that. They get pretty deep, making them pretty bad speed bumps. Here we are going to beach access 6. So this is where a lot of people are coming off the beach. And unfortunately, sometimes they come way too fast off the beach because they are trying not to be stuck in the sand. Driving on the beach, and if you start slowing down too much, you just start digging into the sand. Sometimes they just like to gun it all the way off, and you'll see them flying off into the road sometimes. Not so much as beach access 6, but there's another access place down here that's harder. Saying one more the side cameras are occluded, which means you can't really see much, which I get that a lot because of the sand here. It's not a solid wall, so it looks fuzzy and hazy to it, so it's not sure what it is. And here we come to a lot of these sand dunes, and it's not moving over. Well, now it is. Okay. That's kind of good. It's moving into incoming traffic, though, incoming lane, though. Okay, I'm disengaging because it wants to go totally crazy because of these sand dunes. Ooh. Yeah, it wants to really jerk into those dunes. It needs to look further ahead. again, I'm using the scroll button to tell it to slow down, and it's just coasting. It's not paying attention to what I am telling it to do. So this is, a artificial intelligence ignoring its human master. Now, normally when I drive my Tahoe and it doesn't do what I want it to do, I don't give it the good gas anymore. I give it the cheaper stuff. I can't give the Tesla worse electricity. It's all the same to it. I don't have to worry about it. So I don't know how you would punish a Tesla. Sunset horseback riding, or they may be the people working there. This ends the drive navigation, so if I go over here and just tell it cancel, accelerate to resume. Okay, so if I hit the accelerator, it's going to resume the autopilot with no destination set. And I'm going to disable it. I don't like how I have the high beams on and then go to disable it, then it shuts off the high beams. Because if I'm driving and I see something in the high beams and I want to disable the autopilot, I don't want to lose what I'm seeing for a few seconds. I can hear the wheels working on the slipping of the sand. But yeah, if you can see, that's what a lot of the vision looks like to it, just a sand wall. It's not very clear what it is. So I believe the full self-driving may, have these same issues out in the country where there are no street lights or anything at nighttime. We don't have any reduce front camera visibility. Okay. We don't have any. We have headlights in front of us and a little bit of taillights behind us. But as far as the side, we don't have any side lights. To illuminate the area. So it kind of gives it a more difficulty for the car driving at night and for people as well. You can't see what's beside us. Before I continue on, I'm going to over here. That looks like just some balloons that may have floated and landed over here. Well, I'm stopped here. I just want to move back and double check. Make sure everything, camera hasn't wiggled much. Looks like I'm still recording. Camera hasn't wiggled. Would be nice to have a voice command to restore seat position, and you can't reach. A lot of little things, like when I hit the turn signal, I wish I could move this up here, because if my hand's here, I can't see that. Or make it full screen would be nice. But or on the left side, same thing. And you can tell how to get the bleeding of the blinker into the lens of the camera. This is a 2018. I don't know if they fixed that in the latest models. We'll engage full self-driving here. Wildlife on the island, coyotes, rabbits, everything else running around late at night. They're harmless. But I just want to do a quick drive, nothing difficult right now. I've had a long day. Tired, and I can't wait till daytime. I came out here in October of 2020 for 3 days to check out SpaceX. I'm still here watching SpaceX, waiting for the latest FAA approval. It was delayed until the 13th of this month. Hopefully they will give the green light to SpaceX. They've done some cryo testing on serial number 24, and then 24 has moved over to the thrust simulators to check how everything is working on there. Make sure they can handle the thrust of the engines before they put the engines on. Probably be testing that maybe Monday, if not this weekend. I don't know if they need to close the roads to do that or not. If they're going to fill it again with cryogenic fluids and do it under pressure. High bay, and they will put the engines on. We have a completely obscure road there, nothing but sand. Do not see any lines, but it handled it well in that aspect. Still putting the engines on the booster, I believe, after it's had its testing. And Elon has, tweeted to a question from the everyday astronaut that they plan to test the engines on the booster one at a time. Now, I'm not sure if it's going to be static fire one engine, then static fire another engine, and if they're going to do that like a second after each one, or if they plan to do that like 15 minutes apart. I don't want to see them do a static fire each engine one day at a time with 33 engines. That's over a month of static fires. People will not be happy with all the road closures for that. So it's going to have to be a rapid succession of static fire tests. My question is the liquid oxygen running through the engine cones when they're not ignited? That would need to have one engine next to an engine cone overheating, one that's not igniting. So they have to probably cool it anyway. I spend most of my time, 12 to 14 hours a day, driving Uber and Lyft to make ends meet. Right now, we're coming to summer months. my rent on the hotel room is double what it normally is. So I have to make sure I have enough money to come in to cover that. I'm still trying to catch up on the debt that I have from being down for so long after the car accident. And then once I catch up, I can start getting ahead. Naturally, Tesla stocks are low right now. If I was caught up and able to get ahead, I'll be able to buy a bunch of Tesla stocks, but I can't do that. Murphy will dictate that once I do catch up and start having money where I can throw it back into stocks, the stocks are going to be high again. And that's the kind of way my luck usually runs. It's nice and peaceful out here late at night. And you can see when there's no street lights around, I keep getting that full self-driving may be degraded. Since it really can't see too clearly the side of the cars with the side cameras. On the island, I make like $4.91, where the customers are paying almost $8 for that same ride to Uber. So yeah, if you're using Uber and Lyft, please tip your drivers. It helps them. Yeah, Uber and Lyft both add, a little extra surcharge for offset the increased gas costs, but it's only 55 cents per ride. So like the ride I had this afternoon was from the island all the way up to McAllen, which is an hour and a half north. I can tell you right now 55 cents did not help if I was driving a gas vehicle at all. I mean, maybe 55 cents every couple of miles or every mile, maybe. Well, that might be too much. Every 10 or 20 miles would help. screen. That was weird. Oh, look, that's driving a map. That's not weird. I do plan to test this a lot more. There's a lot of places I want to try on the island that the previous one had issues with. But I'm not going to do it when there's a lot of people around, especially with drunk people and the way things are here. I definitely don't want an accident right now. When I first tested this, I was leaving a shopping center parking lot, and it pulled out to the edge of the bike lane and not the edge of the driveway of the parking lot, which is not correct. Especially down here, because a lot of places use that bike lane to turn. That's a turning lane. Tell you, so far from my experience, even on this short little thing, it seems to be a lot smoother than before. But it does seem to have issues with these golf carts. There's a golf cart over there. It sees the car behind it. Well, no, it looks like it thinks it's a car. It should be turning, but it also sees it as people walking. Which really kind of causes, here we are, we have a whole bunch of people sitting on the back of it. Before it used to jam on the brakes, but the people weren't moving around a lot, so it did a good job on that right there. I definitely would not like it to jam on the brakes right now with this truck on my rear. He's not too close, but let's see people over there. Here we are, kind of stopped. It's doing a good job tracking the people off in the distance. I'm impressed by that, especially with the number of cars. I'm really impressed with that. That's really good to be able to see those people walking that far away at nighttime. Here we are. We have another golf cart here. People smoking and throwing their cigarettes on the ground. Yet another golf cart packed full of people. A taxi that is not going to stop. He's just going to keep going, assuming everybody else is going to stop. The car did good stopping for that. I have to say I'm quite impressed so far with this. Now, I do have the full self-driving engaged. I don't have a destination set, so it's handling it itself here. We have a golf cart next to us, full of people. It's trying to figure out. It seems like it has a hard time seeing any vehicles directly behind me because he's right on my bumper. So all it sees is his grill. Let's see, he likes to sometimes gets a little bit too close for my comfort. And I'm surprised it's picking up these people walking on the other side of the street past these palm trees. Waving to the people in the golf carts. They're all happy about seeing a Tesla. See the people there. There's quite a bit of traffic behind us. We got a guy trying to cut over. It's marking him blue. Give him the right of way. Just to go 10 miles down and 10 miles up. Takes quite a long time on a night like this. Just now at the KFC. I have a few more miles to go to make it back to the hotel. Gave some people a ride to the water park only to pick them up earlier and only 15 minutes later to take them back. They gave up because the parking lot or the water park was so packed. They almost a 4-hour wait to get in, or 4 hours to get to any rides. And we got another person who's looks pretty close in the rearview mirror. Doesn't look as bad in the camera, but the camera is a fisheye lens. Heavy traffic like this is more relaxing with full self-driving or advanced autopilot, either one. Where you're not having to worry about braking and accelerating over and over again yourself. Was going to let that person go, but they didn't proceed fast enough, so car went ahead. Now we have a police car here with the lights up here on the right. Let's see if it recognizes that or gives me any type of prompt or warning. The visualization is seeing doors open on cars and also turn signals, brake lights. Over here we're back near the Gravity Park where they got the Ferris wheel and the bungee jumps, the go-karts on the ramps. We got Driftwood, Tequila Sunset, Louis' Backyard, Laguna Bob, Coconut. Louis' Backyard, they have a seafood buffet. It's not bad. Not my favorite, but it's not bad. Okay, here we are. We have the police vehicle. It's this one over here on the side with the lights on as we're passing it. It doesn't give us any notification. It doesn't visualize the lights on it. Large group of people on the other side of that truck. Screaming. Big line trying to get into Dairy Queen. Large group of people probably waiting to walk across the street. Car did not really jam on the brakes for them, since they were pretty much standing motions. And again, they weren't at a crosswalk. I mean, they put in these crosswalks for a reason. And the people should use them. They have lights, and people are supposed to stop at the crosswalks when people crossing the street. Not that they always do that. But they're supposed to. Yeah, he's pretty close. Pickup truck there with a John boat in its bed. So the John boat was hanging out quite 4 or 5 feet out the back of the truck. I wonder how the car would have handled if I was behind it. How close it would get if it would go by the edge of the John boat or the edge of the back of the truck. And we have a lot of spots on the island where there are left turns that are not marked on the map. A lot of places that you have to make U-turns to get around. Like right here, you could not make a left turn, so you have to go down further, make a U-turn to come back. But that's only being blocked tonight. They block it at the edge, then they should block it near the entrance, because otherwise someone pulls over thinking they're going to make a turn and left turn and come up to the cones, and they can't make the left turn, and now they got to figure out how to get back into the traffic. If that makes sense. A lot of cars parked over here near the food trucks. It's visualizing so many of them. And so many people walking everywhere. I'm happy with this version. Yeah, like I said, there's a few little bitty problems, but there's nothing major. So far, nothing really unsafe. Now we're behind a golf cart, and someone lost their hat. Now the truck's going back and forth. It did seem to get the distance for those golf carts a little wrong on the visualizations. I'm not sure if it's because of perspective or what. I don't know if any of y'all have ever been to a room that is designed to recreate Alice in Wonderland, where the furniture and the chairs and stuff are just built in weird angles, but if you look at one from one particular angle, it makes everything else look like you're huge, and the room looks normal where it's not. It's fun to build stuff like that from just a one perspective, it's not the way it should be. Walk into that room, if someone's looking at it from the right perspective, it looks like as you further you go in the room, it looks like the room's smaller than what it is, where you're getting bigger until you're sitting at the table, and it just makes it look like you're twice as big as what you are. If the car is using that, and assuming that the golf carts are navigate to 100 Padre Boulevard, South Padre Island. Yeah, it's not going to see that disabled. It's not going to be able to do voice recognition without internet connection. This area here is really bad for it. But before I came back, it actually made this turn. Well, after it made this turn, it actually got into the driveway to the hotel, where before, in the other version, it could not figure this out and just drove right past it. So that has been a big improvement. Although it wants to do 35 or 30 here on this road, I don't think it should do more than 25. There's no speed limit signs here. There's always way too many people walking their dogs on this road. Cars parked on the side of this road. It's technically a private road to the hotel and the other places, and you get these trucks just coming out very fast out of the parking lot. Well, we have this group of people standing over here for whatever reason. Who knows? Maybe they're waiting for someone to unlock the gate. Going to the condos. Back in the hotel parking lot, it's totally packed. Holiday Inn Beach Resort, South Padre Island, they finally put up towing enforced signs for the Tesla destination chargers and the superchargers, which is good. If y'all come down here, there's a place y'all can charge if you have a Tesla. The superchargers, they only have 2 old urban superchargers here. They charge at 72 kilowatts. So they're a little bit slower. And current price is 35 cents a kilowatt. Last year it was not that high. It's really gone up over these years. And got a couple of Teslas over here. And nobody at the supercharger over here. Now we got one person going to the supercharger, a Model Y. Okay. Thank y'all very much. And I'll see if I can upload this video. Have a good evening.